Hey everybody, what is going on? Welcome to Regular Josh 1. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button in this video, and if you're new, subscribe. Go check out Novafleet 86 anywhere you find your podcast. Episode 6 has finally been released, link is in the description. Things get pretty real in this episode, so you certainly do not want to miss it. Also, click right here to check out Duel Academy. Hope you guys enjoy! So last year, I made a video about the preschool series Bluey. I'm not afraid to admit it, I'm a pretty big fan of the show. Honestly, if you have seen it, can you really blame me? It's a really great cartoon. It's cute, it's funny, and at times it can provide us with some very heartwarming moments. It's a show that anyone can truly enjoy. You don't have to be a kid or even a parent to enjoy the show. If you haven't already, I think it's worth giving the show a watch. Whether it's one episode or a couple, you'll see why it's so popular among people of all ages. From the characters, to the writing, to the animation, just about everything, Bluey is certainly a perfect show in my book, and for a lot of people who watch it, I'm pretty sure they would definitely agree with that statement. However, of course you're gonna have that one person who just so happens to find something wrong with it. Considering the times that we're living in and how certain people are nowadays, I'm not really sure why this is seen as such a surprise to me. I mean, several months before my Bluey video came out, I talked about how a professor claimed that the show SpongeBob SquarePants was racist. That is still one of the craziest things that I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, this isn't nearly as insane as that article, trust me. In fact, the person who wrote this talked about how they enjoyed Bluey. She talked about certain episodes that personally made her cry because of just how beautifully they handled certain subject matters, like Sleepy Time and Granddad. And she's even talked about things from the show that has even reminded her about her own parenting and the realization of what parenthood meant in the long term, from the perspective of a parent. So by no means was this article a slam on the show or her talking about how much she doesn't like Bluey. She thoroughly does enjoy it. Still, there is one thing that is seemingly bugging her about the show, and it's that Bluey doesn't have enough diversity. Huh? In the article, she writes, "As a parent of color, I am always conscious of the presence or absence of diverse representation in kids' pop culture, what it means for children, and the conversations we have around that. I sincerely believe you don't have to be other to think about this too." Not really 100% sure what she meant by that. Maybe my brain is just not working, but okay. We live in a world where the majority of main characters on children's television are white, where there are more animals than people of color protagonists populating pages of children's books. Where are the disabled, queer, poor, gender diverse dogs of color and single parent dog families in Alright, so there's a lot to unpack here. Let's start off with the statement of most kid shows protagonists being white. This is how I'm looking at it. At least in America, the majority of people in this country are white. So naturally, shows are going to most likely have a white protagonist here. We are having a lot more diversity nowadays, especially in kid shows now. I mean, I've seen it a lot in recent years. As for the comment as to why there are more animal protagonists in kid shows, there are definitely reasons for that. Simply, it's because kids love talking animals. They eat that up all the time. I mean, why do you think there's so many out there? Why do you think shows like Paw Patrol, Puppy Dog Pals, and Bluey are so popular among children? They are talking dogs. That's almost all it really takes to pull children in. Also, talking animals are kinda more interesting than human characters sometimes. Plus, since there's so many different species out there, you really can have an array of different colors, shapes, and sizes when it comes to these characters. Even in a show like Bluey, where everyone is a dog, you have so many different breeds in this cartoon. Almost no character in the show looks identical to another. In some ways, when you make the decision to have everyone be an animal in your show or movie, this is kind of a great way to show some diversity. Everyone can be so different from each other in terms of how they look, but when you see different species getting along with each other, you show that these differences don't really matter. Sometimes just showing any sort of diversity is a good way to get that message across. And I get it, Bluey is a pretty big show, so of course she would be asking something like this, but I think it would be a bit more proactive if, say, she were to advocate for more up-and-coming shows to feature characters like this. I don't think every show needs to have these characters, characters, but it would be nice to see more shows include them. Bluey is currently working on a 3rd season right now, so who knows what kind of new characters we will see. It is very possible that we can see a dog in a wheelchair, or a kid that has same-sex parents, or a single parent, but if we don't, then that's not really a bad thing. I mean, for me, I'm just very excited to see where the show takes us next. As long as the show continues to give us some great moments, you better believe that I'm still going to be watching. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and hit the bell to be notified on my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, you're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. See you next time.
Baby.